Welcome to the Glowland podcast, the podcast for remote work and freelancing in practice. Welcome to this new episode of the Glowland podcast. I'm happy to introduce Bhushan to you guys. Bhushan is a member of our Glowland community and a freelancer doing many different things, basically always involved in the Berlin freelancing and startup scene, and mainly a Rails developer, but also now interested in becoming a smart contract and blockchain developer. Welcome, Bhushan. Thanks for doing this interview with us.
Hello. Thank you. No worries.
Cool. So, tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we can take it from there, I guess.
So basically I'm a freelance web developer. I've been freelancing for 6 years now, more than 6 years actually. And most part of it was digital nomading. I was traveling and working throughout the world. And about 2 years ago, I decided to move to Berlin and get involved in the German freelance market, more so like the European freelance market. So that's where I am now, in Berlin.
All right, perfect. So what is your experience in Berlin? What is your experience with the tech scene, with the freelance scene? Have you seen any recent changes or developments?
So I've been only here for 2 years now. So my experience so far has been quite good. It has been quite easy to find clients. It has also been quite easy to get good rates in the Berlin. At the moment, I think the market is seriously stuffed for programmers. So it's really working in our advantage. And I haven't explored other European markets so much. I tried to explore Swiss market or Scandinavian market, but I couldn't find a lot of contracts there. So it has primarily been in Berlin. Yeah.
The Swiss market is pretty good. The Swiss market and the Scandinavian market are pretty good in terms of payment and hourly rates. I think they're among the best paying in the world.
Even better than Berlin.
Yes. Berlin is not known for good rates in general. I think that changed a little bit recently, but in general, I think southern Germany and also Switzerland and other countries like the US even are known for better payments than Berlin.
Oh, okay. I'm quite able to squeeze out good rates from clients here though until now. So far, so good.
Yeah, I know that definitely. You're really good at this. Can you tell us a little bit why you think you're good at this or better than this than maybe some other developers that cannot get these rates?
Oh, I think primarily because I'm willing to walk away from the project. If I don't, I'm usually not in the position where I have to make money, otherwise I cannot pay my rent. It's usually I make enough savings. Since I've been freelancer for 6 years, I've been through the time where you have dry periods and you're totally fucked, and learning from past experiences, making enough money reservation for next 6 months to 1 year. So that gives me a lot of upper hand in terms of walking away from the project. So if I don't get what I want, I don't want to work. It's not justified. And also I'm able to explain the client the value that I will bring into the project. In terms of the speed of development, in terms of training their junior developers and making good design decisions in the code. So I'm able to express those values, and that's that also has been in my favor to getting good rates. And Also, I am usually not negotiating. Like maybe I will negotiate like €5 or €10, but like not more than that. Like if clients want like something cheap, I'm willing to help them to find someone cheaper. But like, you always get what you pay for. So I tell this client, like, if you want, like, you can also find someone for $10 or 10 euros or €20, and but like, good luck with that. So yeah, but I still think like getting paid hourly is it's not in the best interest of me or the client.
Yeah, yeah.
The way I'm able to do the work. So like the next I'm working on to transitioning into value-based pricing
That's
instead of
really smart.
hourly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like how to go in that direction. I think probably from what I read, it's about how you position yourself
Yes.
from
Yeah.
the information that I gathered. Yeah. And I think I'm not sure how you can do that with like regular recruiter market.
It is kind of a challenge because I think the standard way is hourly still. So that is sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And in other parts of the market for sales and marketing, it is
Mm-hmm,
sometimes value based, and more often than
mm-hmm,
not, recently I
mm-hmm,
found that it's value based. Also, offers that we get for Gerland, for marketing
mm-hmm,
and so on, they're value based because they say if we create this value for your company, you will
uh-huh.
make let's say 20,000 euros within a month. You would make it more. So my
Yeah,
part is actually worth, although I only spent maybe 20 hours or so, my part is
mm-hmm.
worth maybe 10,000 euros, so
Huh.
that's value based
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
saying, okay, my hourly rate is 100 euros. I
Mm-hmm,
work for 20 hours, so
mm-hmm.
pay me 2,000 euros. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but for programmers, more often than not, you go into a team, you do tickets, and
Yeah,
you do stories
yeah,
and bugs and new features and so on. And that isn't really
yeah,
increasing the value of anything that you could put your finger on. Like for marketers, it's more easy to say, okay, you make 100,000 more if I do this properly,
yeah,
and this is why you should pay me this.
yeah,
And so I think you need to find a way to convince the client that this is actually going to get them this much more efficiency. Let's say if you optimize their code on a high scale server environment, you can
mm-hmm,
actually put a price on it, because if they have
mm-hmm,
AWS servers and you say to them, okay, I optimize this by 10%, and they spend $20,000 a month on AWS, you basically save them 2,000 euros a month for the next years. So you can get more money from that,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's very hard to, at the moment, the way it is like it's hard to identify, like, hard to like give tangible numbers for the work you're doing in the programming.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you need to find a niche that is
yeah,
basically different from doing tickets, different from doing
yeah,
stories, but more
yeah.
like value based in the sense of you optimize their code or optimize things that other people can't optimize, and
Hmm.
thus creating a long-term profit for the client.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's a good way. So, what's your experience with the clients if you propose this kind of value-based approach?
What do you mean? Like,
Did you ever propose that to clients to have this value-based approach, or?
oh, I haven't yet. No, no. This is something I'm exploring at the moment because no, I didn't explore this before, so I haven't had any experience yet with it.
Okay. And
Yeah,
also in terms of programming languages, I know you want to transition from web frameworks to something else. Can
yeah.
you explain a little bit what your thought behind this is?
Yeah, I think as a like I've been programming for doing web development for 8 years, and when I started doing Ruby, it was very fairly new in the market where I was in India, and people didn't knew about it, or like there were very few companies doing this work, and it was quite interesting, and there was still a lot to explore. And I think after like 8 years of doing web development, you working for different clients, you kind of run into same issues. Like they might have like different domain problems, but underlying under the hood, like you sort of have like same issues. So I'm kind of bit like tired at the moment, or like it's not so exciting at the moment to like keep solving like same problems and facing like same issues from the management side or from the customer side, from the team. So I want to move transition into something that is very young at the moment, and then there is like more exploration can be done in it. And yeah, that's why I was thinking about smart contract. That
All
was
right.
one thing, and the other thing is also like I really think like if we talk about hourly price, I think like I've hit the ceiling of how much I can charge, at least in German market,
Okay.
for the work. Like it's very hard, like because yeah, it's very hard to go like more price than what I'm charging now. Like maybe you can get 10 euros more, 20 euros more. This is what I'm experiencing. Maybe I
Yeah.
could be wrong. But like yeah, to go like twice or thrice or like 5 times higher than the current price. It's very hard to do at the moment with
I think
the
it's not.
web development.
Yeah, it's not easy. The only thing you could do is find a niche that creates the need for them to hire
Yeah.
you. The thing is, if clients need really some developers, right, for their business needs,
Hmm.
let's say they need to fix this program before they
Hmm.
can use it for the next client presentation and so on, then
Hmm.
they really need someone. And if that technology is rare, they need to
Hmm.
pay you almost value based, almost like the value
Yeah.
that it's really behind that, because otherwise
Yeah.
they have like 10 people applying and then they choose, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that is what is becoming a little bit with at least Ruby on Rails development now. Like it
Yeah.
is becoming sort of mainstream, and it's like for the client, they're like, oh, okay, this guy's a Ruby developer, this guy's a Ruby developer, so like this one is cheap. Maybe I go with this one, but like it's not like so straightforward.
Yeah, you're
Cheap
right.
doesn't mean good quality always.
So I
Yeah.
hear through this talks that you're also, of course, passionate about interesting technology and something that is different. And
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
like, that's your main thing, to find something that's really challenging and brings you to the next level of it being a developer or being a engineer, basically.
Yeah, basically because I was exploring what I want to do, I also was thinking about getting into product management or project management,
Yeah.
because that could also be interesting. But like I read few books, and eventually I realized like what I really like to do is solve engineering problems. Like I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
enjoy like doing that. Like I really enjoy writing code. Like it's so satisfying to write something. At the end of the day, you could see like how different it is, and like every problem has a different solution. And
It's somehow like solving riddles almost, I feel.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if I would like enjoy people management so much more. And like, oh, like the biggest thing was like I was reading this book, and then it says like product managers sometimes have to work 60 hours a week, but the result is very satisfying about changing the world. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to change anybody's world. Like I want, yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's a rare thing to say in the startup industry, to
yeah,
say
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to change, but it's quite healthy, I think.
Yeah, like I have certain knowledge, I have certain skill. I want to provide services for someone who maybe want to change the world. But like I'm also a big fan of like doing nothing and also
Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah,
also.
chilling and relaxing and enjoying times with friends or in park or like cooking. Like these days, I'm doing a lot of that.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
healthy. I read this book by a British author, by Rangan Chatterjee, I think is his name. He's a
Uh-huh.
doctor in the UK, and he wrote about the 4 pillars of health. And the
Uh,
main pillar is basically rest. So eat well,
yeah,
move well,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
but rest and de-stressing is one of the most undervalued qualities that we forget in our hectic world, basically. So if
yeah.
you don't do that, you don't live a good, happy life, you know?
Yeah, like I mean, like in today's world, we are idealizing people like Elon Musk, who is working 80 hours a week, and that's all the statement is. Like he created successful company and he's working 80 hours a week, but that doesn't say anything to me about his life. Like how is he is with his family, how he is with his friends, how he spends time with like people that really care about him, like. Or like you read headline like I made $1 million in a year and like listen to me, ask me anything, blah blah blah, or whatever. Like okay, like that doesn't really tell me anything about your personal life or like uh yeah, or like how cool or chill you are.
Exactly. If you listen to Elon a lot, I saw some interviews where he actually says, people tell me they want to be like me, but I don't really know if I want to be like me. So
Yeah,
it's the thing that I think in his case, he might not be the happiest person in the world, to be honest. He's just doing a lot of work, and he has a lot of purpose, of course, and a lot of skill, but I think he's not particularly happy
yeah.
because he has 5 kids, like
Hmm.
a lot of responsibility with his 3 companies or 4 companies, even where he's CEO,
Hmm.
or like part of the shareholders and the decision makers in the company. And he basically, I don't know how to do that. Like any human that sleeps can
Yeah,
really have a quality life with 5 kids and 3, 4 really successful companies. It doesn't really make sense to me. So this is something very, very obvious to me, that there's something very challenging and something very wrong about this cherishing the this lifestyle of being busy all the time, basically.
yeah. I'm not sure if it comes from America, like probably like just like work, and make shitload of money
Yeah, it's
and then buy shitload of things you don't need.
I think it's human, but also
Yeah,
American. Yeah, I mean, I think it's
yeah,
capitalistic, of course, but it's also
yeah,
human. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
people always want more, and people get rewarded with other stuff. If you make more money, you get more popular. You can buy more things. Like you can
yeah,
get more famous. Maybe you can, get more respect from some people and so on. It's all empty at the end of the day, but it gives you
yeah,
this short kick
yeah,
that
yeah,
really makes you
yeah.
think, okay, it's worth it. But I don't see how people, especially if they're not working remotely, for example, and not having any time for their families, traveling for hours, how they really have a good deal by sitting in front of the computer for their whole life for more than 80 hours a week. It doesn't make sense to me that this is a good life, you know?
I mean, like at the end of the day, they're happy they can buy a very expensive Nike shoes and a very expensive watch.
But they
So
can't, they can't
yeah,
enjoy them. They don't
no,
go running. They don't go driving their expensive
no,
car.
no.
They have to sit in the office. So yeah, this is a little bit contradictory. So
I mean, like, I think we should, as a society, start like changing our role models. Like, people who like are not consuming a lot should be role model than a person who has a Ferrari or Lamborghini.
yeah, it's true. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think people who are generally happy and kind human beings.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should be role
Yeah.
models.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think we need time to realize that as a society. But yeah, let's see. I think remote work is helping a little bit with this because it takes away the pressure of being in the office all the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
It saves commute.
yeah, exactly. Commute and also the sustainability with the traffic and also some kind of freedom that people didn't have before, crushing borders. So it doesn't matter if you live in, let's say, Indonesia, if you live in the US, if you live in Spain, if you have the skill, you will get hired. So it's kind of a good way to open up markets also.
Yeah, but it's very like it's still like very like how would you say like still like not so explode in Germany like remote work.
Yeah, it's not very popular in Germany.
No, it's not popular, and companies are a bit scared about it. Like
Yeah, I think trust is the main key. So the
yeah,
thing is also what you said about value based plays a big key here. So people pay hourly based, right? So what's the
yeah,
problem with that? The problem is that you work 1 hour, it's good for them because they think you created value for 1 hour, right? Whatever that is, could be very different. But you worked for 1 hour. They
yeah,
pay for your lifetime basically of 1 hour.
yeah, yeah,
So if you work value based, they wouldn't really care if you spent that hour, but they would only care if you really did your tasks and if you
yeah,
finished your tasks in time. So that gives you the freedom to organize yourself, and it gives them the relaxation in not having to care about this micromanagement. But in Germany, we do a lot of things still based on this superstition that you only work well if I can see you working.
yeah. Yeah, like there is a designated place of work, and the work should happen at the designated place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Still have that. It's a little bit cultural,
yeah.
I think, and it's a little bit superstition involved. I think the American culture is a little bit more open to that, also because they have a bigger country. In Germany, everything's so close, so there's
Yeah.
never been a big issue with people coming to the office. But if you are in the West Coast and you work with people on the East Coast, there's no way that they can commute. So people
Yeah.
needed to figure this stuff out in the US earlier than we did. And so they got more comfortable with it as long as the results are good. And in my experience, if people don't work well or they're low performers or however you call that, it will show in remote work or locally. It's no difference. There will always be
Yeah.
these people and you have to deal with that in some way. And
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with the fact that they're remote or that they're local. It's something to do with their work moral and with their organization and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think this will change in Germany though?
Yes, I'm sure. There's a couple of companies like us, and like we have, I think, 2, 3 more others in the space that are, at least that I know, that are kind of leaders of this movement and that are creating some bigger impact. But also, I see a lot of people abroad that are from Germany and where they have a deal that they can work remotely. So it's getting more and more because people need to do that at the moment, because the work market is also, like you said, they need developers, they need experts that are really good, and you don't want to let someone go just because they need to move and they want to stay with your company. You don't want to let them go if they did good work, you know. So basically the companies need to open up, and this is the long-term result will be this. And also in the future, the talent market will be very versatile also, and very fought over, I think, as well. So the real experts and talented people, they can choose then. So the shift in kind of in kind of options and in kind of the power spectrum kind of changes. So in my opinion, the companies need to fight more over giving these people, these experts, benefits over other competitors. So I think this will happen more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, problem. Yeah. I also think in Germany, like in Germany, the state is not pro freelancer.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restraints from the state, and there's this Scheinselbstständigkeit. I don't know if you know it. So it kind of makes sure that you can't work long term for the same client.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's called Scheinselbstständigkeit. It's
Uh-huh.
basically to protect the workers, so they
Uh-huh.
don't exploit, the companies don't exploit freelancers
Mm-hmm.
instead of workers. So they are encouraged to employ, but it's working vice versa, because I don't want to be employed
Uh-huh.
and I want to be a freelancer. So I want the company to be able to hire me as a freelancer without problems. But
Yeah.
also the tax system is not in favor of freelancers.
Yeah.
So freelancers and the insurance system, the banking system, and
Housing.
housing, everything. Yeah, people. It's harder to get an apartment as a freelancer because people think you don't have a steady income.
Yeah.
So everything is a little bit against it, like disadvantaged. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's part of the fact that we're a minority. I think most people in Germany, like most people, are employed still, and people enjoy that, being employed. They like being employed because
Mm-hmm.
it comes with a lot of security and benefits,
Mm-hmm.
um, like paid vacation, paid sick leave, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But people with our mindset, we trade that in for a better short-term payment, better flexibility,
Yeah.
and more responsibility, self-responsibility, and
Yeah.
less security. And this is
Yeah.
not a very typical German mindset, I would say. It's true. Like the typical
Yeah.
German mindset is security, sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
having everything organized and the future secured.
Yeah.
So this is not
Yeah.
the freelance model. We're more like in the kind of free market, and we're on our own at the end of the day. You know, we need to make
Yeah.
sure that we provide for ourselves,
Yeah.
and this is
Yeah.
why I think culturally Germany is a little bit disadvantaging freelancing, because it's not very common here. There's not a big lobby. There's big lobbies
Yeah.
for employed people, but there's no lobbies for freelancers, as I know.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think this will only hurt in Germany and its taxing than anything else, because like a lot of people, uh, at least in the tech business, like it's you are the one who is choosing where to go, then the country or the company choosing you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like you can like people can be like, yeah, fuck off. I don't want to go to Germany because they're so weird about freelancers. I would rather go to America, or I would rather go to some like other country where like it's easy to find clients and to deal with things.
yeah.
Like yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree. I think remote work again is a solution to this. You know, you can stay wherever you want and still pick your clients ideally. That would be
Yeah, yeah,
the best
yeah,
way.
yeah. I mean, like because Americans are so open about it, they have such a huge like there is such a huge developer community in India working especially for American clients.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a very interesting field we're in, because everything's so global and changing so rapidly. So I think there will
yeah,
be more changes in the future.
yeah.
Is there
Not from
anything?
the. Mhm.
Is there anything you would advise people who want to start freelancing, what to do and how to do it as a developer?
Mm, someone who wants to start from full time to freelancing.
Yes, basically, yes.
Okay. Someone. I would. Yeah, like there. I would say like if you are on the path to start freelancing. So one of the most important thing would be like to have enough savings for 6 months. So even if you have like if you don't find clients for first 6 months, you're not freaking out and you're not falling back into the old habits of or like going back to employment. And also it's also very important, especially when you're starting out as a new freelancer, like to get your contract checked from the lawyer, because my experience, like especially in German market, like I have been screwed over 2 times until now by the clients. And like
In
and
what way? Screwed over in what way?
so one of the client was like they had a 3 months project, and I finished a 3 months project in 1.5 month project, and they didn't want it to pay for rest 1.5 months, so they just like abruptly killed the contract without even respecting notice period. And it was basically them trying to tell me like, okay, screw you, if you want to bring us to court, you're welcome to do this, we are corporate, you cannot do anything to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
How
the
did
part
that
that
how did that work out? Like, what happened then?
uh well, I just like I couldn't do anything, like I left it. So yeah. And then there was another like, so the key here was like in the contract, like they write like you are available like up to 40 hours, which could mean also means like 0 hours. So this up to word really screwed me over.
Ah, okay. Now I got it. They put in something that is legally basically enabling them to not pay you if they
Yeah.
set your
Like they
availability
still
to
breach
0.
contract. They still breach the contract
Okay.
because they didn't respect the original notice period either.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I
and
understand.
and the other company was like the contract was like I have to give a timesheet in order to get paid.
Yeah.
So this was written in the contract. Like I will need a timesheet, and the company was like when I finished like 2 weeks and I raised timesheet. Oh my god, it was like very annoying to get my timesheet approved. It was very stressful 2 weeks, like a lot of back and forth, and like them trying to like negotiate hours and blah 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 and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was a very bad, because like yeah, because it's bullshit. Like I'm not like we have a service agreement. We don't have a like a ticket based agreement. And like I'm charging for hours. Like if the ticket is done or not done, I don't care. Like you still have to pay for these hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So so I would like never like have this statement again in
Okay.
my like contract. And also I would like include in the contract like the code that I write is still mine until I'm paid. Like and if
Oh,
they use the
that's
code,
a good
it will be
clause. Yeah.
copyright violation. Yeah,
Yeah.
then it will be a copyright violation. So which could be a criminal offense.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point. I mean,
yeah,
that's a good tip for freelancers that are starting
yeah,
out to make sure that your contracts are in place and you aren't screwed over. I mean, we
yeah,
know that too. That happens in the industry,
yeah,
that
yeah,
clients try to push the limits of what is legal and possible. And a lot of
yeah,
things are legal if you sign it. So you
yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
careful what you
yeah,
sign, basically.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
so that's a great note at the end, I think. So. I think this talk was very interesting, very, a lot of experience here speaking and coming in here. Thanks, Bhushan, for giving that
I would
knowledge.
also like to add one more point.
Sure. Go
Uh,
ahead.
like to add general recruiters in the market, like traditional recruiters, they're very good at like negotiating and trying to bring your rate down so that they can have a maximum cut,
Yeah,
maximum bigger piece of the pie. And and but you don't have to. Like, you have to understand. Like there might be like three jobs, and you're the only one person who can do this. So you have to understand that you are at the advantage, even no matter how much recruiter tries to tell you that they have like three candidates and they have to choose, and like if you can like give like 10 euros cheaper, or like if you are like 50 euros, that they will hire you. Like, no, like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't have anyone, they are lying. Like, be firm, like figure out how much you want to charge and be firm about your rate. Be willing
That's
to
that's a
walk
good
away if
that's a
you
good
get that
advice.
price.
I know the recruiter side,
Yeah,
of course, because we are recruiters,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we always are transparent about prices, and we take the same percentage of the price. We take
yeah.
10% maximum, basically. So a lot of
Mhm.
recruiters don't do that, and sometimes you end up with.
No,
And we had some freelancers who reported this to us from other engagements, that they paid
yeah,
basically they got paid 50% of what the client paid. So that's really
yeah,
not fair
yeah.
for a recruiter to give you only 50%. So I totally agree. You have to be careful with this.
Yeah, I mean, like, they are in the business of negotiating with you. Their job depends on like how much money they can squeeze out from you.
Yeah, yeah,
But
of course.
don't let them, because you are working on it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell to our audience? Any tips
Mm,
for or any like anything where they can find you, or any things you want to share?
oh, you can. I'm actually putting my website up. It's called Bhushan.works,
Okay, cool.
and it will be for freelancer related material for European market. So yeah, and you can, like, once that is up, you can also find my email there to contact me if you have any questions or if you need any help. Yeah.
All right, that's great. I will link that to our show notes in the blog that we share,
Yeah.
and people can definitely check that out. Thanks again. Thanks so much, Bhushan, for doing this interview. And yeah, see you soon in Berlin. See you in person soon. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, super. Yeah, it was very nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
I hope this helps.
Take care. Thank you for listening to the Glowland podcast, the podcast for freelancing and remote work in practice.